Jars scream silent, they don't know. Numbers hum where the cold winds blow. play their tune, dance to the beat of the dead balloon. Find a route, find a route.
Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Hello. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here with you. Who do we have here? We have Mohan, Ray Lim. Good morning, Rodney. Good morning, Clean Sober. Good morning, Miguel and Bob. It is certainly a huge morning to be getting together, to be talking. And all of you clearly know the importance of what's going on in the markets, and that's why you're here to talk about it, because there's a lot to unpack with what's happening in the markets. Let me just get some of my screen set up. But before we begin, let me know, were you trading last night? Were you trading this morning? And if you did you make money? How did it go for you? What were you trading? Let me know. I don't trade Sunday, Monday, so perhaps I could have rode the move lower in stocks, but it can also be argued that it was quite a volatile and crazy night, and a lot of the moves that we saw were well off the lows, right? I mean, at one point the Dow was down 1,000 points last night, and guess what? I mean, yes, it did continue for a few hours, but what did we learn? Just as Savin said, gaps like to be filled, and it wasn't 100% filled, but definitely trying to chase the move down was probably not the best decision at all, because the moves were quite aggressive, the markets were choppy. Clean Sonder, what were you trading last night that gave you the profits in the markets? We all want to know. I only trade Mondays if I feel great, which I don't. I mean, that's really a good point too. Green Otter, I think it's very true. You only want to trade when you understand the markets and you understand how things going. Yes, the live started early today because we had daylight savings in the US. So, it's an hour earlier for all of you. It's the same time for me and anyone in the East Coast. But yes, Clean Sober, NQ and gold was where the action was. Let's take a look at the charts and get right into it. Give me 1 second. I actually we want to be in the candlestick charts. All right, where are we? Good morning, Randad. I'm going to share with you my screen. All right. Let's talk about the moons. By the way, do you like the light one or do you like dark? What do you guys like? Light or dark? Let me know. And we'll keep it on that screen. Do you guys like light or dark? You really don't care. All right. Oil. Clearly, looks like, yes, you were an Aussie Kiwi, Johnny, but not the best idea. And price, because I'm looking for stronger CAD. All right, it's 50-50. Some of you like dark, some of you like light. That's not helpful yet, but let's see. Light. All right, more clear. It's still 50-50, but I think I like light too. I like dark when I'm drawing my charts,
I think light for streaming. It just looks too bad on streaming. Dark looks really bad.
I
Streaming,
agree. I agree. I was just going to say that light is good for streaming. Dark is really great for my X charts. Those work out really, really well. Okay, so gap higher in oil. And this is the big story of the night. I mean, oil basically rallied. Let me get my price percentage chart. It basically rallied from everyone's talking about how from the December lows, which is right here. Oil prices jumped. Let me maybe make my line black because I'm always flipping between dark and light, and it just drives myself nuts. I don't even know where it is. Here it is. There's my line. Let's make this black. All right. 117% off from the lows. 117% rally that we have seen in oil prices. Huge move. And since Thursday alone, this was a 50% rise. So huge move in a very, very short period of time. And if you look at the 15-minute charts, we had a gap higher. You all know this on the in oil. And what do I tell you? Gaps like to be filled. You can do one of two things. You can either join the move for a very short period of time, or actually one of three things. When you trade gaps, and I have a whole article on Prop Trader Edge on how to trade gaps, you can either ride the move for a very quick jump, which is usually doesn't last is very swift, because even in the first 15 minutes, look at this, oil spiked up, and it was hours before we got another push higher, which in many ways tests the patience of most people. Instead, oftentimes you'll get the reversal and you'll get the gap filled. So in many ways, it's much better to wait for the dust to settle and then to ride the filling of the gap. And afterwards, wait for the real move of the day. May it be a rally in gold from here, I'm not sure, but the points that I want to make, rally in oil from here, I'm not sure, but it definitely looks like the gap is filled. Now we're going to potentially get the move higher in oil. We saw that in oil. We also saw that in the NASDAQ, MNQ, gapped lower. Wasn't a perfect fill, but in this case, we did have continuation. We had hours of continuation from the open. And then, eventually it bottomed, maybe the 3-candle pattern, where if you get 3 candles of strength, it finally shows a bottom. You ride the move higher for the gap being filled, or you stay out of it and you wait for the real move of the day. And maybe the real move of the day is going to come off of this decline that we are seeing in the NASDAQ right here. Maybe we'll see the real move of the day come off of this move. You see this in MNQ, you see this in YM, you see this in ES, where with gaps, the gaps are always filled, and then we get the real move of the day. And when it comes to trading stocks, this is the level to watch this morning, because if we get a break below here, which is this low from the morning, then there's a very good chance that we're going to see a follow through move lower. Let me get my arrow to be black. All right. So now the question is, why is gold also down? Why are gold prices lower as well? Well, gold prices are falling, and gold prices are falling because, what you're seeing is just full-fledged liquidation, where the market is basically liquidating pretty much, everything in sight. We had the market open, gold prices gold prices surged and then dropped, and then now seems like we may actually have a huge sell-off and finally some stabilization. It's hard to tell whether or not it's going to stabilize from here, but it definitely looks like a situation where we could very well see simultaneous decline in stocks and in gold until the market stabilizes. What's interesting to me, though, is that Bitcoin is up. I mean, that's really, really surprising to me, because Bitcoin is, the quintessential risk on, risk off asset, maybe because it's fallen so much already. Traders are coming in and they're thinking it fell so much already. Maybe we'll pick some bottoms in Bitcoin. We'll have to see. Okay, so first of all, some implications of the move in oil. Let's see what people are asking. So oil prices, I showed this on social. Oil prices spiked higher. This was a pretty much 50% move in a very short period of time. In fact, since the beginning of March, it was a 75% rally. Last time we had a move of this type of magnitude was pretty much over here in 2021, sorry. In 2021, we had a move of this magnitude, about 100% rise in oil in a very short period of time. Now, this is a monthly chart. So this all happened in 2 days. This happened over a series of months. So it did take a little bit longer. But how did this impact stocks? Let's lay on the Dow chart. This is the Dow chart. Let's make the Dow chart. Actually, I already had Dow on here. Let's make the Dow chart over here. And you can see 100% move in oil prices. And let me see if I can move this over a little bit. And that corresponded, and the percentage change is going to be wrong because it's measuring off the move in oil. But you can see that over the following months, it's pretty much a one-way downtrend. Pretty much a one-way downtrend here in pretty much a one-way downtrend here that you're seeing in NASDAQ, sorry, in Dow. And that was, and it's not 48%. I measured it earlier. It's about a 20% drop in the NASDAQ. So it's better if we draw the arrow. We had a 20% drop in the Dow during this time. I know I said NASDAQ. And that is why it leads you to wonder whether this is going to lead to a significant drop. And this is unfortunately Dow and not Dow futures. So if we put on Dow futures, YM, you will see that Dow futures are beginning to fall, and we could see another 15% drop because we are already 5% down from the highs. So bottom line is, if we move this to the left scale and we get rid of all our drawings and we go to the monthly chart, and let's just do $100 oil. $100 oil, okay? We're just looking at $100 oil. You can see that over here, we get a big drop in the Dow. First time we're above $100 oil here, huge drop in the Dow. This time we're getting above $100 oil, huge drop in the Dow. And these are huge on a percentage basis. And let's see if we have any other examples of this over here. I don't think we will. But, all the examples that we've seen here have led to very, very big drop in the Dow. And if you look at just right now, we're just beginning to see the drop in the Dow. So that is why we could see a more significant move lower in stocks. Now, I also want to show you this image here. Oil is up because of the war, and I'll talk about that, all right? What happens if it settles down? But this is another chart. This is something that Bloomberg published when we first had the Ukraine war, and I think it's still very, very relevant, which is that if you take a look at this, all the shaded areas is when we had recessions. The horizontal line is when oil went above $104 a barrel, is what they're using as a metric. So you can see that every single time that we see oil spike above $100 a barrel, it is followed by recession. It is followed by a US recession. And so whenever we get oil above $104 a barrel, many people wonder, is that going to lead to a US recession. And it seems like going back to 1970s, for the most part, it has. Now, not every recession has been triggered by, not every recession has been triggered by a surge in oil. Like the financial crisis, for example, that, was not triggered by a surge in oil. But every surge in oil in the past has led to a recession. Now, of course, it doesn't guarantee a recession, because whether or not that is the case rests in large part by how long oil prices remain at these levels. And you and I, both know that wars can end quickly. And President Trump has already said this weekend that a short-term increase in oil and gas prices is a small price to pay for safety in the US and of Americans and things like that. And that, this is short-lived. So, if he's right and this war ends quickly, then yes, the impact on oil will be limited. But let's take a look at some of this extrapolation, because some of the peaks in oil that I'm not sure how long my chart here goes, but let's see. So this was also kind of short-lived in 2008. But this I don't think is really, so my charts don't really, it only goes up to 1984. So 1990, it doesn't even go back to 1990. So we really can't extrapolate this. But in 2000, we had a surge, this is the Brent. So it really, you can't tell how long it will end up lasting. But you can see that when we have these moves in oil, even if it's a short-lived rally, and this is a monthly chart. So we did spend like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months above $100. This led to August to over a year drop in stocks. Over here, this was like a 2.5 month surge in oil above $100. And this led to April to October, so September. So a 5-month drop in stocks. And then over here we spent like also about 3 months above there. And I would say this is from April to September. So also a 5-month drop in stock. So first off, we have to see whether this holds above that level. That remains to be seen. If it does hold above that level, then that is obviously a problem. And if it does hold above that level for 3 months, for example, that is when we can see a 5-month, a longer period sell-off in stocks. So the question is, do we spike up and then end up, coming down because, we're only 9 days into the month. And so this monthly candle hasn't quite closed yet. Or do we end up moving down and we get this, wick candle that looks something like this or something like this? If that's the case, then the pain will be less. But evolving situation, watching this closely. And the key is the durability of the move in oil. Whether or not this move remains durable, that is really the key. And that is really the question that we have right now. So pay attention to this, because this is really the big focus of the markets. It is what's driving stocks lower. As long as it remains above $100, it will remain lower. Also, this matters on an intraday basis, right? We're looking at maybe a 15-minute chart is a little bit neurotic, but oil prices pulling back, Dow futures moving upwards. And you see this with NASDAQ. Oil prices rallying, Dow futures moving downwards. So regardless of whether you're a swing trader or a day trader, it is important to look at all of this. Now, I have a question about Forex, which we can look at in a minute. So, some of the CAD minor pairs, one thing that could be good to look at is maybe Aussie CAD. So Aussie CAD, if we look at the daily chart, Aussie CAD is the blue line and oil is the candlestick. And you can see the rally in oil is coinciding with a drop in Aussie CAD. And if we just go to some of the minor crosses like Aussie CAD, for example, and let's get rid of this, and we drop in our moving averages, Yes, we're bouncing off the lows because oil prices are bouncing or retreating from the high. So this 50 SMA is important and is definitely something that is key to watch as well. And I watch it closely, and I think it's important to watch closely for everyone. But in general, this is a big week anyway because we have the U.S. inflation report on Wednesday. But there's of course nothing more important than what oil is doing, what the headline risk is doing, as well as what stocks are doing, because it's all kind of feeds into itself. Aussie yen long, Aussie and Kiwi are escaping. And Kiwi is actually up today. It's one of the very few currencies that's up today. It is escaping this kind of global turmoil. And the reason why it's kind of escaping this global turmoil is because it's its distance from all this chaos, I think, is keeping it sheltered to a large degree. And so I think that's something that I'm watching, and something I think it still looks quite big. I mean, if this candle closes where it is, it's above the previous one, and certainly a pretty big deal, and something we are watching very, very closely as well. So, gold prices are pulling back. I still think gold, overall trend is up, but today's trend is certainly down. NASDAQ is recovering. Mondays are kind of wonky. You got to definitely pay attention. You guys are really into Forex this morning, which is great. EuroCAD may be another one because Europe is very much hurt by the oil prices. Absolutely. And I've been talking about how when Euro broke below the 200 SMA, that was kind of the line in the sand for everyone. Euro broke below the 200 SMA. We're seeing a much more significant we could see a much more significant drop to at least these levels. EuroCAD definitely, moving down quite a bit. It already has moved down quite a bit. So now it's just a question of, where is support, right? Where is the fib? And with EuroCAD, whoops, that's not a fib. EuroCAD, your fibs come in not until 154, probably this support level here but there is some support around 155 even, but EuroCAD is definitely in a very, very strong downtrend. So let's take a look at the data. We already have really ugly Eurozone data. German industrial production, German factory orders, really, really ugly. Last week, we had a horrendous retail sales report from the US. That is something that, I've been watching quite closely because, that completely missed expectations. And I think is a clear sign to us that, we're done. That we are basically the labor market is may pretty much be the best is behind us. I guess the worst is the way to say it. The best is behind us. The worst may be ahead of us, and that is something that's very, very important to pay attention to. So we've got Australian business confidence. That's obviously very important tonight. So we have no major U.S. data this week until the inflation report on Wednesday. Gas prices have already been increasing due to inflation report. If we get an inflation miss, I don't think the market's really going to care about it because they're going to think the recent increase in oil prices will lead to an ever greater increase in inflation. And if we have an inflation surprise, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this means that the Fed is not going to be cutting interest rates in June because you have that. And then you also have the recent increase in oil prices. And that's going to be very dollar bullish. That's on Wednesday. Nothing really on Thursday, just jobless claims. But on Friday, we have durable goods, personal income, personal spending, UMich index, most of which will probably end up being weaker. So CPI is the main focus this week. Boris will be live trading with you guys that day. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Aside from that, we have Canadian jobs report on Friday. Important, but not as important as oil. And those are basically the main pieces of data on the calendar. Watch, any comments about releasing strategic reserves, increasing production, things like that from OPEC nations. That is definitely going to impact the markets. Taking a look at CAD yen. CAD yen is surging. Uptrend remains intact, although I think we could see a little bit of pullback to 116.30. We'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see how that goes, but keep an eye on oil because, as I said, that is single-handedly going to be driving all of these pairs. And CAD yen looks like it wants to flame out a little bit from here. Any other questions? We do have, a big, busy trading week. I'll try to keep you all updated. It's going to be all about the headlines. It's going to be all about the headline risk, and that will really remain key. Bitcoin, as I mentioned Bitcoin earlier, I think it's just fallen so much. You're seeing a little bit of stabilization here. And people are kind of scaling in, like, bargain hunters are kind of scaling in at these levels, looking for, any type of dip opportunity. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to invite in Aussie Kiwi. All right, you guys are really into the Forex crosses, which I love. So Kiwi's been busting up today. It's been outperforming all of the major currencies. It looks like it wants to roll over. It's below the 5 SMA. I think it's going to drop lower to 118.35. I think, when it comes to all of this, we've definitely have a bit more problem in Australia and sensitivity in Australia than New Zealand. With dollar yen above 158, do you think we'll be on the lookout for rate checks? The Japanese government knows that this is completely out of their power. This is all due to US dollar strength. They will, of course, try to, in many ways, talk it down, rate check, whatever it is that they do in order to get some two-way action in the dollar yen. But I think, and it's going to be more around the 160 level, but I don't think the impact is really going to be, I don't think it's going to work, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Any other questions? Great questions, guys. What's my view on US 30? I think it's headed lower. Of course, it depends upon the headlines. Today, we're bouncing off the lows, so I think it could rebound some more. But I think it's still a sell on rallies than a buy in dips right now. Any other questions? I love all your questions. I love how you guys are getting so involved. Oil was up $25 overnight. Do you think it's a real move coming from big traders or weak hand short-term retail traders? I mean, it's the gap higher, immediate knee-jerk reaction, followed by maybe some reality setting in. It is partially due to the headlines that some of the oil producing nations are thinking about increasing production. Trading tips, trading futures from East Asia. Any tips for my time zone? Yeah, I trade Asia all the time, and we are talking in the market timing course. If you want to learn more about it, go to email me at Kathy@bktraders.com, and we're already deep in the course talking about trading futures in the Asia session and how great it is and what opportunities we are. All right. Yeah, G7 has now started willing. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Mideast nations, G7 announcements. This is why oil bounced off its lows. Sorry, it's bounced off retreated from its highs. So what it probably will happen, they have to, I think, because it's not just an oil issue, it's actually a supply issue. So I think they will. And so I think, quote unquote, this gap in oil will probably be filled. And that will lead to maybe a little bit of a relief rally in the markets. All right. Any further questions, my friends? Is this going to have a long-term impact? So gas prices tend to stay up for longer than oil prices because once I guess these gas stations, they don't want to adjust their prices down so quickly because they don't want to have to move it up and down in a huge amount of volatility. So I think it will last. It will go up more than where it is right now. It will stay high longer than the move in oil. But if oil has a sustained move lower, it will also retreat. Everyone has to dip into the reserves. I think it's a huge problem, and everyone's definitely looking into it. All right, so let's invite Boris in to trade with you guys. Don't forget, everyone, Apex Trader Funding, their 85% off deal ends tomorrow. So make sure that you're using the code BKSAVE if you are looking to get the best price ever. I think it's like 19, is it $19 or $13, Boris?
$17, but close enough. It's
Yeah,
17 bucks.
seven.
17 bucks for 25K. Like 22 bucks for 50K. That is what do you call it? Not end of day. That is just equity based drawdown, which is what we trade when we're scalping. That's perfectly okay for us because we're always well ahead of that drawdown. But if you want to do end of day, it's only about $5 more in terms of prices, but still dirt cheap. I mean, literally a third to a quarter of what everybody else charges you. So the reason why, and this is the reason why I absolutely love Apex, you got to understand, right? We love to trade multiple accounts, which gives us multiple strategies, multiple opportunities, multiple areas. If you can go buy somewhere else, even with some of the other people that we rep, it's hundreds of dollars just to have 10 accounts. Here, it's literally like less than $100 to have 5 accounts. I spent that more than that for brunch, and Kathy, I'm sure, spent much more than that for dinner yesterday. So it really worth it. Just really, really worth it especially because I'm going to show you a couple of really new cool things in how we're trading that will give you the flexibility to do multiple accounts, multiple ways to pass, and multiple ways to get paid. So
Yes. So I mean, look at this. Apex, 25,000 account, normally $118. Now only $17.70. And this ends tomorrow at midnight. So make sure you use the code BKSAVE to take advantage of that discount. Now, if you're trading CFDs, our favorite CFD provider is Ola Prime, and you get 35% off with code EDGE.
I actually had a conversation with the CEO of Ola today, guys. Some very cool news coming forward with them. In terms of they're going to become a really great futures trading platform. They are right now, but they're going to bring on board Tradeovate in 2 weeks. Fingers crossed. And when that happens, we're going to be able to really knock it because they're trading gold, which is going to be awesome. So Asia session, we're going to trade gold with them on Tradeovate, which is very, very exciting. So keep an eye on that, but definitely get some Ola accounts.
Did Boris just release classified information? I mean, no. That's why you can't tell Boris any secrets. Because it always comes out. You can tell me all the secrets. Secrets never go out from me.
She did not NDA me on this. I was just really pressing her because they've been saying it's coming, and she said it's really, really coming. So she's very confident that within 2 weeks we're going to have it. So I'm just passing you, her opinion, and hopefully we keep our fingers crossed and it'll be there, and it'll be really awesome because we're going to be able to trade.
All secrets stay safe with me. I think it's all based upon trust. Boris will give you everything that everyone's telling you, so don't tell him your secrets.
She was very confident she was going to do it, so it's it. They're committed to it. So I'm just very excited about it because it's going to really expand our possibilities of trading Ola gold.
And they're actually currently offering,
let me give you the Ola link too. Just 1 second.
Yeah, they're currently offering 50% off. But if you make sure you use our link because that Boris is going to put in.
I'm giving you like the actual real link.
Let's see.
Use that link with the.
So you only get so you want to use their code, not our code, but you want to use our link because then you get 30% off. So only some of them are 50% off. I think the 2-step is 50% off. But the point I want to make is that you use our link bit.ly/Hola Edge, and you'll get our BK trend meters, our tools, things like that. So make sure you take advantage of that, and so you can combine it with whatever discount they're offering.
Oh yeah. So that's another really interesting piece of news. I know many of you really love the BK trend meters for TradingView, but of course, when you're trading Ola, a lot of you are maybe trading MetaTrader 5, MetaTrader 4. So we've actually made the BK meters for trading MetaTrader as well.
Do you want to show that, Boris?
No, because I'm on a Mac, unfortunately. Sorry. I'll show it in Asia session for everybody who wants to see it. But it's really beautiful. The really cool thing is in MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5, it's only one BK meter that you can switch. You can configure.
This is what. How do I make this big? This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
It's one BK meter that you can use. And
you can switch in the back end. You can switch from an EMA and an SMA. So it means you could have 2 charts, 1 chart EMA, 1 chart SMA if you wanted. Whatever you want to do. It's very, very functional. You can change any of the EMA, any of the time periods to whatever you like. So if you like the default ones is 5, 15, 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day with a what are these? It's 520. Is that the SMAs? Whatever the default numbers are, but you can change the default numbers if you want to. Although I really recommend you stay with the defaults because Kathy chose those numbers for a very specific reason, and they tend to really work well.
I mean, check them out right
yeah.
now.
I kept the
Like
defaults on, and it was really giving me some very, very good signals in terms of,
you can see already, the short-term meters in oil are all down. On MNQ, the short-term meters are all up. So while you may think, but this one's starting to turn red, while
Right.
you may think that it's a bearish day, it's showing you a little bit of stabilization, but now it's starting to show a little bit of weakness. So this tells you exactly what's happening. If you're looking at the daily chart, it tells you exactly what's happening in other time frames at a glance without having to flip through every single. So you can watch whatever time frame you're looking at. A lot of people say they use entries use 5-minute charts, 2-minute charts for entries, and they're triggering off the 4-hour or 1-hour chart. Well, you can see exactly what the shorter time frames are doing over here. And if you like 2-minute charts for entries, for example, you could change this to a 2-minute chart and say, okay, how's it performing on a 2-minute chart? And take a look at that. So it's basically multiple time frame at a glance, incredibly valuable.
Yeah, and also it's a great actually mean reversion signal too, because remember when the whole board goes red or the whole board goes green, that's usually an incredibly oversold or overbought point, and you could start looking for for intelligent mean reversion trades on the thing. So yeah, there's a lot of different interesting ways to do this. I know you guys love it, so we made a MT4 MT5 version for you as well.
Yep. All right, sounds good.
All right, very good. Okay, all right. Let me grab the screen. Thanks, Kay. Thank you so much. I'm going to grab the screen here. Hang on, just one sec. Share screen, window, there, share. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Mic check, sound check, vibe check, all checks. Give me +1s on everything that's going on here. I am, of course, going to drive you crazy, but in a good way, in a really good way, because I'm going to make your life a lot easier rather than complex. We're going to change things up into ease of use rather than complexity. So, I know I drove you crazy with the point of control stuff, breaking out of highs, breaking out of lows. Those are all really, really good ways to trade. But I realized that 99% of the actual thesis that I'm trying to capture in every one of those trades can be captured in the A trades, specifically in the A2 trades, right? In the A2 trades. I don't want to go deep into why this is true. Just trust me on this. But the most important part, why this is so valuable, is because everybody who is sitting on wealth charts and who's like, Boris, when are we going to update all this point of control stuff? Doesn't have to. That's the beauty. If you're on wealth charts, the functionality that I'm going to basically show you exists already. It's the exact same functionality as we have on TradingView. So this is going to make basically trade selection so much easier for you. So much easier for you. If you think of the A2 as a double dot function, it's 2 consecutive dots, either in trend or counter trend. You can trade them, one, if you certainly want to, like right now, you want trend-based trades always are better than non-trend based trades, but we're going to trade them both ways because we want to, because me, I like to trade both ways. But the point being is that the configuration of this is super simple. And so I'm going to walk you through the A2 config, and you can take everything else off of it so you have a nice clean chart. This way it's also just simply really creates a super clean chart. And you're going to get 99.5% benefit of point of control and everything else in terms of doing these charts, because it's really all about breaking highs, breaking lows in a consecutive fashion. And that's what I'm basically trying to trade. It's brutal. I am not going to, it's been fucking brutal to trade since yesterday, not because we're not getting movement, but because we're getting so much 1 step forward, 2 steps backwards movement. We're getting so little continuity that I'm up on like 4 out of my 6 accounts, but I got to tell you, it has been work. It's just been brow sweat work in terms of what I'm doing. Having simplified it to this approach has made my life a little bit easier. So let me show you how I set up my A2s. These are literally in the most promiscuous manner possible. That is the least amount of restraint on them whatsoever. If you go into the A function, you select the A setup. I literally unchecked everything. I'm unchecking everything. I don't want any filter on this because I want pure, raw, unfiltered. Seems like Ben E. What? Sorry. What are you saying, English? I want pure, unfiltered double dots. I just want double dots over here, right? So unfortunately, we got 5 minutes to the open, so I can't take this one, but I did take this one. So these are, obviously the red ones are counter trend double dots. So I want, first of all, let me just go back here. In the A setup, I'm trading both, right? I'm trading A labels both. Uncheck every single parameter. Range actually should be none. Just put range none. Just make it super promiscuous. Like there's just no controls on it. How do I set TP for scalping? Well, I'm using Trade of 8 to trade through Trading View. Okay. If you'd like me to show you how to do that, I'll show that. As a matter of fact, it's a good time to do it. We've got 5 minutes before the market opens, so I can easily show you how to do this. Let's go to Trade of 8. Okay. And obviously, you know, in wealth charts, it's all built in. But in Trade of 8 Trading View, here's what you need to do. I'm going to go back to my trusty little thing. Do you see? Does everybody see this at the corner of my eye over here? This very, very top corner. It's the most unintuitive thing in the world. This squiggly ass little lines, looks like bamboo shoots, right? Everybody sees that. If you see that, that's what you need to hit. You need to hit this. Once you hit that, you got to go to preferences. And once you go into preferences, you go to, no shit, what do you go to? I forgot already. What the fuck do we do? Oh, add-ons. I'm sorry. You don't go with, you go into add-ons, you go into settings, add-ons. And what you want to do, obviously, is activate Trading View. Just hit the activate button. That's all you need to do. Once you hit the activate button, you will now be able to make any trade in Trading View will be made through Trade of 8. Any trade in Trade of 8 will be made through Trading View. Now, once you've done that, right? You then go into Trade of 8. You hit you're in the little DOM window in Trade of 8, and you hit the little settings button over here. Just hit it over here, and you can create any kind of bracket order you want. So I'm just going to create a fake one right now. I'm going to hit a plus, brand new one. I'm going to call it fake order, just so that you guys can see it. Hit OK, and then take profit. What you want it is in take profit and stop loss. Now I've modified my. I know I've been trading 40-40. I told you guys I've been trading 40-40, but it's been brutal to try and trade 1-to-1. So I modified it a little bit to 60 take profit, 15 points take profit, 20 points stop, 60-80 as my modification. And then you hit save, and then you'll have the fake order over here, and then you can choose it from a drop-down menu. So you can create all sorts of orders. I'm trading basically an 80-60 order right now in Trade of 8. Okay, is that clear to everybody? Give me a yes. Give me a clear. Give me a thumbs up, please. It's not another BFF version. It's the old one, primarily because this allows you, especially for you, like, if you're sitting on wealth charts, you don't have to, you can literally trade all the stuff that we traded on Friday in this fashion. I'm basically turning A2s into point of control trades because they match most of the stuff, right? Peter Buss likes that. There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of people here that are on wealth charts, and this just makes their life so much easier. So we got 30 seconds to the open. Market's really, really brutal. I mean, I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat it. It's brutal to trade the market today, but we're gonna do it. especially since we're trading small size, and that always gives us a really interesting opportunity to hang in there. 10 seconds left, 429, 8 seconds. I'm waiting for this thing to close. And then again, I'm going to try and gun it if we can. 3, 2, 1, boom. We're in, market open, and we're done. That was good. That was good. I knew that was going to pop on the market open. Now we're going to just let it breathe a second and, and do its thing. Session highs, by the way, 24,500. I don't know if you guys read my tweet yesterday on the open when we were at 24.2. I said we're going to go test 24,000 because you're going to hear everybody on Talking Head TV screaming about, oh, it's the end of the world, oil going to 1 million, oh, the world is going to come to an end, blah 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 blah, and it's going to be a great time probably to buy it. It was a great time to buy it at 24,000. I think I don't know. Famous last words. I certainly have been wrong a million times before. We have session highs here. Massive candle, right? Market really ramping it up. Is it worth it for us to give it a shot? Why not? Let's see. Maybe I get a retrace. Maybe we don't. Let's see if I get a full pull up. Full pull up. Yay, baby, full pull up. So by the way, why do I get the full pull up here? I shorten my target to 15 points. It's just like that's a difference sometimes between winning and losing in these massive vol cases. Okay, so we'll leave that alone. But it does, you see, having the double A's, the double dots, the A2s, which is a double dot, does give you by no means great accuracy, but just good enough accuracy that you could gut it out. Just trade long enough, it will the P&L does work itself out. You just have to be prepared for like 2-3 consecutive losses, then come back at 2-3 consecutive wins in the whole thing. It's just tough mentally and psychologically. So I'm trading small. I'm trading relatively even money. I'm not definitely not skewing myself on a negative risk in any serious fashion. And I'm doing something interesting that I'll share with you guys here, but it's really a coaching tip. Anyways, this is my own personal coaching tip. So this is what I'm doing with all my accounts. And I've actually borrowed this idea from Kathy. She doesn't even notice. But if you guys know that, Kay is a very, very good Forex trader, right? And she does something that almost every single professional trader tells you never to do, right? She's been doing this for like 15 years. So it's not like, she's a one-trick wonder at this. I've seen this be a truly successful approach. So I can assure you it definitely works. What she does is she doesn't give a shit about setups, structure, mentality. She's the last person in the world to actually talk about mental health. I mean, she's the most like rational person in the world. She'll throw you out of the room if you tell her, oh, you need to go have a yoga massage before you trade. She thinks it's all bullshit. She focuses on money, nothing but money. What I mean by money is she has a very hard focus of making 100 pips per week. That's it. She just fucking makes 100 pips a week like a machine. Now, of course, some weeks are better. A lot of weeks sometimes can be worse. But just that immeasurable focus on making sure that she gets to 100 pips, very, very, very effective in having her choose the best kind of trades and then make those trades work, right? So I kind of stole that concept from her in saying, here's what I'm going to do. I'm focusing on the next 100 targets. So just to give you an example, 64, I started the day at 25, 216. My goal was to get to the next 100 target, which is the $300. Then in the 63, I started in the 300s. My next goal was to get to the 400 target. In the 58s, I was in the 500s. I think maybe actually it was in the 400s. And my next goal was to get to the 600s. So on and so on and so forth. It's a really, really good approach. Basically, I trade, like for example, the 47 account right now. I started at 25.9. my target is to get to the 600, to the 1,000. I drove myself down to like 778. I brought it back. Now, here's the other mental trick that's very, very interesting. Suppose you get stopped out a couple of times. Now you start at 900. Now you're at 775. What should be your target? Your target is to get to the 800. Your target is not to get to the beginning. Your target is to get to the next 100. I don't give a shit if you're down to 500. Your then target is just to get to 600. Having that focus really, really helps you take the next possible trade, not the trade that you desperately want, but the trade that you desperately need, right? Really, really interesting approach mind-wise. Take it or leave it, guys, but definitely been working for me. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all good. This one is, I got to work on, and this one I got to work on, and this one I just blew yesterday because this is, after I blew this, I was like, you're a fucking asshole. You're going to do what Kay does. And once I started doing that, I really, really improved my trading. So just, a tip from the queen. Anybody follow what I just said? Did you guys understand what I'm talking about? That your next focus should be your next $100 equity curve, and then you can move on to the next one. All right, the other thing that's very cool, we have the astrologer here with us today. The other thing that I'm going to talk about is ORB dots, which is really, really cool because today we get a chance to actually put that into play, hopefully. And I'll tell you how I actually made a whole video on it. It's going to be coming out. Watch it on the thing. Astrologer says he does the same thing, but with 50s. Very good. Okay, that's the key thing is what target you want to focus on. I'm talking about, by the way, I'm not talking about the arc target in the trade, how much money I'm making in the trade. I'm talking about making the money in the account, right? So I'm trading that account until I reach that target, and I'm hopefully choosing the right structure. Sounds like consistency rules. Yeah, I guess, you know what? Hey, I didn't even think about this, but you're right. Doing that inevitably puts you in sync with the consistency rules that Apex and so many other firms have. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about ORB, but let's just see if we get if we get a double dot A2. All right, we're getting a double dot A2. So this is counter trend. Trend is up, 8 above 200. We went up to 5,200. Tested the highs, came off the highs, dicking around basically over here. Let's see if it's going to be more selling or whether the European selling was all there was. Oh my God! You guys hearing the car? Are you hearing the car alarm right now? All right, let's see if we're going to sell this. Short here. I get rid of this. It's just New York City. I have to fucking deal with it. I think I'd love to drop a refrigerator on that car right now. Ah, thank God he stopped. So it's counter trend trade, right? Like I said, going to be a lower probability, but we did turn off. We're also like pretty much trying to break the breakout candle lows here. If you're looking at it, right? If they can pressure it to the downside, maybe we have a chance here. Let's see. Do we have a chance? Oh, so close. Fuck. So close. Now it's going to rip it against me. Yeah, and just that's been the story of the day. Like just zero continuation, super fast markets, jittery as fuck, zero, continuation. Everybody, nobody knows where it's like being inside of a Beirut battle. Here we go. Come on. There we go. Finally got done. Okay, got done. That was a sign from God. Maybe it was the Ayatollah Khamenei's next what's the new guy's name? Khamenei Jr. I'm just waiting for him to meet his maker. I was still using the counter. Gloria, I'm not using. Absolutely do use it. I just remember the countdown clock is there just to anchor, so you can see it. Obviously, my whole point is I can see it on the side here. I just took it off because it was just annoying me personally. Everything in the it's. If you're asking me, are we entering on the close of the candle? The answer is 1,000,000% yes. If you ask me, do I need the countdown clock to kind of babysit me on that? No, I can look at it. I can look at it on here. I'm looking at this thing over here. I just put the countdown clock. Remember, we put on there because we needed, sometimes especially in wealth charts, it's hard to see the clock on the side, but here it's pretty easy to see the clock on the side. All right, now here comes the moment of truth. How much do I want to press this? Right? We're negative trend, right? This is the second double dot sell signal. This is like a momentum signal. Why not? What the fuck? You know me, I'm a horrible momentum trader. And I eat it, of course. This is the reason why I hate trading momentum. And it totally retraced on me. All right, fine. And now it's gonna do this. And that's, by the way, is just sort of the story of the day today, is that fuck it. I'm gonna sell it again. Because this looks like it's a let's see if today is just going to torture me back and forth on the price action. My stops are tight. It's just fuck it. All right, no more. Don't let me take any more stupid trades. The trade that I want now is actually the A2 green ones, the true trend trade. But this was expensive little. I should have taken it. I should have taken it in the eval account, but I'm really trying to trade this one account straight up. I'm going to trade this account to 26,000 if it's going to kill me today. Two bad impulsive trade. Actually two bad impulsive trades. I really want to take only the first signal in a slice. Although, honestly, if you're going to take trend-based structures, when you get big momentum moves, the big momentum moves is happening now till about 11 o'clock in the morning. So if we get any kind of continuity, this is probably the time to take these trades. But we're going to leave it alone. That was truly stupid on my part, but it's fine. We'll come back. The great thing is, there's a trade every 5-6 minutes, so we have a chance to come back and find the signal. Session lows, by the way, on the thing. We should probably sell session lows, right? Session lows. Let's see if we can sell this. No, it's not even going to give me session lows today. Jesus. Look at this just totally psychotic nature of the price. It's just like every time they try to bring it down, the buyers come back. It's just like once that it really is incredibly chopped price action. Very toxic to the kind of trading we like to do. Wow. No. My life today is just going to be torture of short stop outs. The only positive thing you can take out of this thing is that it's a very, very small. It's a nick every time, and that's the whole idea. Is if you're trading small, it's going to be a nick every time. You don't want to make 3 trades on a TED lot and be down basically $600-700. And I'm down $80 after all of this. But yeah, I mean, the price action is just horrible for what we like, for what we want to see, which is continuity candles. We're not seeing any continuity candles. Oh, so this actually brings me up to what I want to talk about. So let's talk about ORB, the ORB dots. So first, we're going to create a what I call the ORB window, and it's the window for us is going to be the 10 o'clock window. If it's a little bit earlier, it's okay. We will truncate it a little bit, but generally, what we want to be looking at is, I mean, if there's a first range structure, then it's fine. We can take that trade if it comes. The key to ORB that we're going to be doing the first half hour is we're looking for from purple and red, which is over here, basically this line over here. So we already have the high, right? So we're going to go Alt B. No, sorry. Alt H, horizontal. Right over here. So pretty much this is going to be the high of the ORB from the purple, right? To the combo of white-green, when we get a white-green combo. So far, we don't have a white-green combo, right? And if we get a white-green combo, that'll be the bottom of our range. And we can then, and then I'm going to put in the final wrinkle to how we want to trade this. And it'll be very, very cool. Yeah, bigger stop would get me resolved. You're right, astrologer, but it will also force me to get to go to a bigger target, right? You just, you can't have one or the other, and we're not getting any of the targets. So I'll bleed my 20-point stop a few times, and the key to succeeding is to get your target hit, not worry about, not avoid the stop, right? To be on offense, not on defense. So I'll be on small defense for a while until I get better offense. So if we get a green dot here, then this whole little section over here, I'm just going to assume it. And if it doesn't happen, it's fine. We can move it. This whole section becomes our little ORB range, and I'll show you how I would trade it. But we'll see if it actually does that. Generally, I don't really want to set the ORB range until 10 o'clock, right? I want prices to have their full travel until about 10 o'clock. And then after that, we can have the highs and the lows demarcated with more intelligence. And I'll show you another reason why this little range is just not that interesting right now. Or rather, if the range itself is fine, but when maybe taking a trade in this range is not that interesting. Almost 10 o'clock. I'm just waiting to see if we get another dot candle, just to show you the full concept of the dot ORB. All right, coming back down to the range. Now we challenging the lows of the session lows. So this whole thing is just going to have to move down anyways. We'll see. But that's good for us because it means we're really building the high-low range from 9:30 to 10 o'clock. That's going to be a more meaningful zone to trade against. Pretty quiet. Not much going on here. All right, session lows. Getting an A2 double dot sell here. Sell. Unbelievable. I'm just getting bled out. It's totally bled out on the retraces. Market is just retrace, and then now it's going to take out the lows. Okay. We'll see. It's brutal price action. All right, here's what I'm going to focus on now. I'm going to focus on trying to make 25.8, right? I bled out. My only job right now is try to get it back up to 800. That's my first target of the day. Okay, white dot. Possibly we're maybe making a bottom here. We'll see if the session low holds here. So basically, where the lows are around the 350, 330 area. Let's see. This line over here, the vertical line, is the 10 o'clock line. So I kind of want to build this whole box around this this zone, and then we can trade that a little bit. Fresh session lows. Of course, now it's gonna hit target. Let's see if price wants to stabilize a little bit. Can we get the green dot, white dot, green dot structure? Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta close my windows because there's a lot of work going on outside. It's getting very loud. I'll be right back. Just hang with me. Wow, I thought my windows were open. My windows are totally closed and it's so loud. Holy shit. All right, bottoming out. White dot, we're popping up. Is this our range so far? We'll see. Okay, A2. So now basically we can make at least a reasonable assumption that this is the range. And if this is the range, it's 500 to 300, right? So basically it's a 100-point stop. Let me just show you. Like around, yeah, maybe 405, somewhere right here. So that's the midpoint of the range. And the reason why I put that up there is because what we want to do is when we're at ranges edges, we want to use that 100-point midpoint as our stop and target structure. So if we break the top and hold the breakout, we want to target 100 up with a 100 stop. If we fail and it starts to turn back down, we want to sell to the middle with a 100 stop above. Kind of like keeping it a 1-to-1, but on a range basis, rather than intraday scalp basis. This is a little bit more positional for people, and it's much it's much easier because you're only doing like 1 or 2 trades a day, maybe 3 trades a day this way. But it's very, very clear and distinct. Although the key thing is to understand that it's the other great thing about dots is understand that it's always dynamic. So if we get if we start breaking the lows here, and this isn't the bottom, we can pull our range wider until that happens. But this makes it super easy to trade range, right? ORB, because it's very, very clean and clear on the charts. You guys see how demarcated this whole thing is? It's very geometric. Hey, Bernie, there's a lot of people in the room here. They're all watching us trade. Why don't you focus on trading, my friend? Love it? Astrologer loves it. Yeah, it's really, really cool. So the key thing is obviously now we have to wait to see how this develops, because there's also very interesting rules on how it develops forward. Depending, the basic idea, I'll disclose the lead here. What we really want is a candle close through this. If candle closes through the high, candle closes through the low, then we have confidence that there's continuity, that the ORB is broken, and we trade to the downside or the upside. If it just pierces it or touches it but comes back down, then we kind of look for the reversal trade. All right, am I getting a double dot? A2 sell. Market is just really, really brutally choppy, right? Nobody wants to do anything today. Yeah, it's all about the close, exactly. All right, 26 seconds left. Sorry. And by the way, just to show you, why I got clipped. Remember, these are trend trades. Almost every one of these, the first of these, winner, 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 right? Counter trend trades, not so much. These are all still counter trend trades. The A2 reds. I'm taking them and I'm bleeding. But even when they're right, they were wrong on the retrace. Like the momentum on the retrace takes you out of the trade. So it's very, very brutal to trade against. We're still basically above the VWAP, and trying to take counter trend trades against that really makes it tough. Hey, great news. Sam from Ola is going to join us for CPI. So we get to trade with Sam on Wednesday. Okay, so now the range is really confirmed, because the confirmation that you want is a white green dot, right? Purple red is the top, white green is the bottom. Fuck, it's not even giving us a green yet. Okay. Yeah, you could do the fib retrace too. You're right, but I'm keeping it simple. 50, just 50, half range is good enough. Generally, as a directional move, as an impulse move, right? So, all right. So range pretty much confirmed. The first half-hour range is 500 to 300, 200-point range. What are we going to do now? Coming through the mid. A2, double dot A2 with trend, which is hopefully a better fucking signal than I've been getting all day long. And hopefully I get some continuity. Okay, see that double dot A2 is really, really extending now. Now it's going to run. That's trying to run through the whole, field on just one candle. Or B can be really viewed as like a field of play structure. You think like, here's defense, here's offense, here's midpoint. You're running the field. Whoever takes out the highs scores the goal, gets a touchdown. Whatever metaphor you want to use. All right, we're gonna go long. There we go. Finally, with trend, I get back to 800. Now the next target is going to be 900. Well, it's, remember, CFD is a different product. They don't have trailing shit in it, I think. And we'll go through I think their discounts are really, really good now. So, and they don't have a timestamp on it, like it's much more of it's also much more positional product. You don't have, you don't have to hold, you can hold overnight. There's just like a lot of different things you could do. Just a much more different product. Now, okay, I really should be taking this secondary A2, but I'm having such a hard time trading momentum. because I just gotten so badly bruised. I'm going to take one, one shot per swing here. Like, it's hard for me to do a double. Yeah, it's Lee. That's what I'm saying. I should be, but I'm not, because I'm really pussing out right now because it's just so much retrace in this price action that whenever you get a trade, it's like it's almost a mana from heaven. See, this one retraces back out. It just, especially because I'm on 20-point stops, it just gives you no. Oh, look at this, and now we just completely reverse the whole thing. Now we just reverse the whole thing, and this is like the story of the day today. What happened now? It's news. Somebody say something. This looks really, really nasty. I don't know if we have the news. It doesn't look like it's news wires, but it could be something bad. All right, A2 the other way. Now we're still very range bound in this. We're still within the first half hour of range, right? We really haven't broken anything, and we're still just chopping around. Still can't find any continuity. Sandy says he's only taking sell signals. I may be right. I don't know. Markets are. I've learned the markets are perverse enough that, like, the greater the negative news, the more likely we pump it to the upside as the day progresses on whatever headline. Just they love to kill the shorts. Any news, by the way, like anything fresh? Let's see if Twitter has anything. We're going to use the strategic oil reserve. That's doing that. Nothing there. What's going on? Let's see on the headlines. Basically, strategic oil reserve is the big piece of news. Global coordinated bailout coming. They're about to print more oil. Okay. All right. You may be right on the negatives because we're still under the low. Oil jumped to 106. Why, on the release of oil? I wonder why oil jumps to 106. Is it because I guess they feel that's a desperation move? You guys hear the noise in the background? I'm hoping not, but let me know if you hear it. I'll tell you what it is. It's not Tehran. We're not getting bombed. There is an explanation. Saudi Aramco cutting production in 2 oil fields. Yes, that's why we popped up. Yeah. Okay. Doc snoring? No. New York City apartment buildings are all made of like brick, especially if they're pre-war, right? Especially if they're post-war, they're not necessarily made of bricks, but if they're pre-war, they're all made of bricks. And the drywall work, you kind of close there, Sandy. It's pretty good. So there's something called pointing, where by law, and the problem is with pre-war buildings, of course, if made of bricks, bricks begin to to fall. If they fall off the facade, they can kill people, 15 stories down. So every like 10 years, every single pre-war building has to do something called pointing, where the guys climb outside on scaffolds and they literally have to examine all the bricks, and any brick that looks loose or out of place or needs replacement, they got to knock them out. So it's a very, very tedious process, and it's got to be done like every 5-10 years to keep public safety. So that's why they're just basically literally climbing like Spider-Man outside of my windows, pointing the bricks. They're going to be doing this for like a week, so it's going to be very noisy. So yes, that's what's going on. Yeah, it does. I didn't even hear that shower noise, but like you're right, it does sound like it's just. I think I don't know whatever machine they're using to probably drill out the loose bricks. All right, we're holding the 300 so far, right? It's an interesting trade. If we're going to take any of these ORB trades, we're going to take them in the eval account, just because that requires bigger stops and targets. But I'm sort of watching this, seeing are they able to hold the level, right? So far, we're able to just kind of hold this level. Haven't been able to pierce it down. So let's see. What I want to know is, can they, if they touch it and close through it, or if they touch it and bring it back up? That's what we really want to be watching. Mason work, that's right. Masonry. All right, let's see if Sandy is right. It's just all short all the time here. The other thing I want to talk to you about is probably, maybe tomorrow. There's a new trading platform called Trade C. Has anybody worked on Trade C? It looks like we're definitely holding it up. Okay, so we're going to be in the. Let's just buy this. All right, I'm going to buy. Oops, where's my thing? Hang on. 88. I gotta really stretch my stops and targets. My stop should really be here. Target is going to be somewhere around here. So this is not necessarily like a perfect ORB trade, but I'm basically like, until they either break the bottom, I'm going to assume this is the bottom and just look for about a half risk type of trade. So if I'm here at 65, the stop it's about 60, so I'm looking for about a 30 target, right? Somewhere around there. So leave it to you like this. So basically, I'm, saw modest evidence of ORB hold. Let's see if it does actually hold. And for those of you guys who don't necessarily want to trade scalping, which I totally understand, do 1,000 trades for like 1 point at the end of the day on days like today. These kind of positional trades where it's 1 or 2 trades in a day, win, lose, or draw, still very productive, when they're productive, because it's only like 1 or 2 trades. Gives you more breathing room. You can, give it a shot. There we go. And that was a nice, clean ORB off the bottom. First one for us using, dots that very, just very, very easy to play. Now the question is, can we run the highs? That's really the big question. Or is this just, all she wrote, and they're going to just start dropping it through the floor? What I like about all of this is it's very methodical, right? You know exactly where your stops are. You know exactly where the targets are. You can gauge everything. It's also not frequent. It's like, set up here, maybe another setup in an hour, maybe another setup. You have 2 or 3 setups in a day. Very, very sort of tranquil. You like it? Good. I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah. Give me a hey. Let's do a little poll, man. It's been holy shit. What a day today. Just makes me want to kill myself. Let's do a poll. It's been so boring. New dots ORB. Here, we're gonna make it. I'm gonna make it more fun. We're gonna do it Colosseum style. All right, Roman Colosseum style poll. New dots ORB. Give me your thoughts. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Now the price action is just boring today, Saba, right? It's like, I mean, look at this. We just been scraping the bottom here. But it does look like, guys, I mean, it looks like we're doing a little double bottom. Finally, we're getting an A2. Let's go back to the 47 account. Can I get a double dot A2 to rebuild? No, Sandy, I can't do a no clue option. What was the old one? Oh, you're right. It's not old one. It's more like just it's a new setup. New. It should be new, comma dots ORB, right? It's just it's not like it's a new ORB, right? 400 capping us a little bit right now. It's also, I really like having like this 30-minute range demarcation, because it really shows you, you know, where the field of play is for the day today. No, Jay, that one I have not. The ORB I have not yet done, because that's really kind of a new thing. I actually going to release a video on it. You can watch the video, and then we'll put it into the protocol. Yeah. So Sandy keeps it simple. He says the white dot green dot combo. That's what he does. He just trades that all day long, every day. Hey, Sandy, I meant to ask you. Do you trade skip dot? Like, let me ask you a question here, my friend. Tell me if, oh shit, I'm in the wrong one. Hang on. Okay, tell me. Okay, obviously white dot, green dot. This is a trade for you, right? You come in here, but what about white dot, interrupt, purple dot, green dot? Do you consider that to be a combo, or you just ignore it? Because that's the nuance I'm kind of curious about how you trade. Do you trade the interrupt? You ignore. You ignore, so you don't care. So it's like it doesn't exist. So that's really interesting. So Sandy basically, just to let you guys know, and he's done a lot of these trades. Are you would it be fair to say you've done? Oh, sorry, you don't take that trade. Sorry. Okay, fuck. Okay, let's get our English together. So what I meant was, do you ignore the purple dot? No. So you ignore the setup. That's not a setup for you. This would be a no setup for you right here, right? Let's do a little coloring here. Why not? That's no setup for you, because it's a white dot interrupt, correct? However, this would be a setup for you. This would be a setup for you. Notice the wonderful use of coloring that I'm giving you guys. Right. Okay. And, Sandy has done like, it wouldn't be an underestimate to say he's done like probably hundreds of these, maybe if not 1,000 of them. I mean, I know he's just he trades like a maniac. So you really have a good sample. You have a lot of confidence in saying, if you get that combo. One last question, okay, that everybody wants to know, Sandy. Does it work in trend and counter trend, or you only trade that with trend? +500 trades, right? So he's got a really, really good book of data there. So again, only when we're above the VWAP or the SMA, or you don't care. Either one way or the other, you're going to trade that. You're going to trade the bullish bias. I think he's trading. I think you're trading on a 1-minute chart, right? Yeah. Let's clarify all those questions. You trading in a 1-minute chart? The double dot goes away, so no signal for us. Oh, you didn't even watch the trend, so you don't. So effectively, yeah. So 1-minute chart, he really doesn't watch the trend because he's watching ADXs. So yeah. And the other thing is, why is it working for him? I mean, obviously it's working for him because it's a good setup. But the fact that he ignores trend just basically talks to the idea of the upside bias of equities. That equities are essentially a 70-30 bet to the upside on any given day, on any given hour, on any given month. And that's been true since like 1950s, with the only exception being the decade of 1970s. Did I ever show this to you guys? What the fuck is it? Oh, God. Oh, shit. What is that? Oak Tree Research? I gotta Google this thing. Hang on. God, this is like the most amazing piece of data. Oak Oakmont Research. How many days does market close positive? Let's see if this comes on close. Oh, no, it's the wrong. Is it the wrong one? I gotta find that. I'll find it tomorrow. It's a good reason for you guys to come back tomorrow. Positive day for use future, a positive long for long week as well. Where's Oakmont Research? Is it? No, that's not the one. All right, I'll look for it. Yeah, he's basically trading the longs. Although you said today you're going to be short. Does that, Sandy? If you're short, what are you trading? Purple, red? It trades purple, red for short. But you mostly do the long side, right? How often do you trade the short side? Not that much. All right, little scalpiness on the downside here. Okay, cool. Right now, the signal is either strong nor pure, right? Okay, we're gonna be short this thing. Double dot. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Short. All right. I'm just not gonna do any more shorts today. It's just killing me. Every fucking short now is retracing me into a stop. God damn it. Every stop I took today was a short. Ugh. That's because obviously trend is still up. Just wasted trades today. Just wasted trades. Yes, thank you, Sandy, for making this Monday bearable at how boring it was. We did manage to do a good ORB trade. It's the only thing that we did well, and of course, the trading with the trend also worked. But all the other stuff was just fucking useless. Just selling shorts today has just been a waste of time. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad a waste of money because I really traded small. Hopefully, oops, what happened here? Hopefully the trades are going to get a little bit better. but it's definitely, I mean, this was, you know what today was great for? Understanding when markets really suck and keeping your trades to a minimum in this kind of environment. All right, we're still turning. We get a double dot on the green side. Let's see. All right. 8-2 double dots, 10 seconds left. Let's see if we can do it. Got to hold. Nope, no trade. But we'll see if it gets, if price action starts to climb back up. Yeah, it's after 10:30. Thank you. I got to run soon, but what happened to my lines? Didn't I have my lines? Oh, I must have erased everything. All right, let's let me put the lines back on just so you guys can actually see it. So this is the top, this is the bottom. So basically, lines are from the top of the purple to the bottom of the white. Those are the range lines. The midpoint is somewhere around here. We traded this, we traded the turn back up here, I think, nicely, and now we can see. By the way, 11 o'clock, we could easily burst through here and run higher. So there still could be a lot more interesting range trades to go, but I got to run. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, we get a little bit better price action. The lesson of the day today was, don't counter trend. Don't counter trend double dots in a shitty little environment like today. But otherwise, all good. I'll see you guys. Doctor says he stayed old school, red, purple dot, then white, green for long with trend above VWAP and green slope. Excellent results. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The white, white, green, definitely working. The white dot, green dot definitely works very well. And the A2s to the upside all worked well. But what did not work was me shorting these things. And the thing that's frustrating is it's not that they didn't go down, is that they retraced against me. And that's just the nature of the beast. I'm trading very, very small stops. And that's just the essence of what I traded. You could change the rules, but then your risk rewards completely get totally whacked out, get out of whack. I told you the most important thing that I kind of really put a control on is the risk reward aspect of it. And if you can do that, it doesn't matter how many things don't work. When they do work, the P&L starts to really, really come up. So we'll see. We'll see tomorrow where this P&L is. But so far, I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positive, 2 negatives. So I'll let you know tomorrow where I'm at. Okay, guys. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.